One, let's start with our chapter 3 of Human Diseases of Science Primary 6. One, we are going to talk about the infectious diseases. With the learning aim is to explain that viruses, bacteria, fungi, and parasites can cause infection, which may lead to infectious diseases. Now, before we start chapter 3, let's see about this picture. What are the two things that this person is wearing on his face? Yes, that's true. Face mask and face shield. Why do you think these things have been worn? Do you still remember about the COVID thing? Yes, where we all have to stay in the house or what is that? Doing social distancing. So why are we using this? Yes, it is to protect the body from diseases. So it is very dangerous for us to stay close to other people without any boundaries when we are, easily exposed to diseases. That's why during the COVID-19, we have all seen people around us wearing masks and even sometimes face shields too. So we have to know, even though now we notice that we have get rid or we have gotten over the COVID-19, it is better for us to still wear our mask when we are not feeling well. So if you are not feeling well, or if you see your friends are not feeling well, that means you have to please remind them to use or to protect themselves or others by wearing a mask. Try to put on our thinking cap and let's wonder how tiny living things can cause diseases. Don't forget to also open your page 37 of the student's book while listening to our or to my explanation. Now, let's try to recall that there are many tiny living things around us that can cause diseases. Do you know how these living things can cause diseases? How do they enter our body? Yes, so we have to understand that disease causing living things may enter through our mouth or our nose. So, what are these tiny living things? Where are they found? So, these tiny living things are the bacteria, fungi, parasites. And you might also be aware that viruses can also cause diseases. So please remember about this concept first. Let's continue. Now the main concept, you have to open page 38 and 39 first from your student's book, don't forget. So what are some diseases that you know? Now please answers. Okay, what are some of diseases? Yes, you can find maybe you have like fever, cough, even COVID-19, and then what else? You have the chicken pox, and so many things that you want to mention. But what causes these diseases? Now, I would like to introduce you to the term pathogens. So these pathogens, okay, so let's see from the chickenpox first. The chickenpox causes a very itchy red rash all over the body. It is caused by the virus that causes the chickenpox. So these are actually caused by what we call pathogens, viruses, bacteria, parasites, and fungi are pathogens. A pathogen can get into the body of a living thing called a host. So we are all called a host. When a pathogen, and the pathogen for viruses, bacteria, parasites, fungi enter our body, we are called the host because this host will be inhabited by the pathogen that will cause harm or diseases to our body. And some diseases are caused by infection with pathogens. Now let's see again. Why is the child wearing the red shirt trying to cover his face? You see, when the boy in the green clothes, okay, is coughing, the boy in the red clothes trying to close or cover his face. Why? Because he is trying to avoid the tiny droplets from the other child sneezing, which may contain bacteria or viruses. That's why if you are sick and you are having cough, please remember that you have to cover your mouth with anything, or maybe you can close it with your the mask. You have to use the mask, or you can use the tissue. Why? Because you want to avoid from your droplets what is that, falling into other people that may cause other people to get the same sickness or diseases as you too. Now, what should the child wearing the green shirt have done while sneezing? He should have covered his mouth with a handkerchief or tissue or wearing a mask. So, now do you understand why pathogens can pass on from one host to another, spreading diseases? So, how do diseases spread? So diseases can spread or be transmitted through these ways. This is what we call transmission. When one disease is transmitted to the other person, this is called what we call transmission. So diseases can spread or be transmitted through these ways. The first is by physical contact with a person who is infected. The second one is through the body fluids such as saliva or blood. That's why if you have some sickness, please cover your mouth so your saliva will not fall onto other people. Now the next one is the air and also the food and water. That's why please be careful not to share your food and water with your friends. Please keep on to your own food and water. The next one is insects such as mosquitoes. So the mosquitoes, if they are what is that, being infected by a specific disease, and if the mosquitoes bite you, that means you will also get infected by the disease. Do this activity. Which groups of pathogens cause the diseases, and how do diseases spread? Let's see, from the first is cholera. How do you think the cholera being spread? Yes, cholera is spread by, yes, from the bacteria and the food. Because why? If you see in the pictures, we can see there are so many flies. That's why we have to be careful. Do not let any flies stop or stay on our food. If our food has been invested or inhabited by the flies, please remember, do not eat that anymore. Okay, the next one is malaria. So malaria is actually caused by the mosquito. The mosquito carried the parasites inside its body. So the body fluid and then the parasites cause the malaria. Now, what about the skin infection? If you see the picture, the nails, yeah, grow like some diseases like the skin infection that is actually caused by the fungi and during physical contact. So everyone, you have to be careful not to share, for example, share clothes or share your what is that, accessories, because why? If they are infected by the fungi, that means you will also experience the same disease. So be careful. Some critical thinking. From this picture, just now we talk about the malaria. So if you find a mosquito like this, with the color of like this. They have like dotted and lines on its body. That means it is you have to be careful with this kind of mosquitoes. So let's have a critical thinking. Do all mosquitoes spread dengue fever and malaria? The answer is no. Only certain kinds of mosquitoes that are infected, those that carry the parasites, can spread diseases. So remember, everyone, you have to be careful to not put any, what is that, water. It is on top of table, or maybe it is like a still water inside or everywhere. You have to keep it dry, because why? That is how the dengue fever, or also where the malaria mosquitoes invested or grow themselves. So remember about that. Now let's see these questions, and let's see how we can answer these questions. Okay, so number one, some diseases are caused by hmm, yes, that's good. Infection with pathogens. Number two, viruses, bacteria, and fungi that cause infectious diseases are called pathogens. Good. Now, number three, pathogens reproduce in the body of a plant or animal called a host. Good. Now, next, number four. The spread of a disease from one host to another is known as good transmission. Okay, I hope that you have understood until this part. So let's go to the next step. Now, don't forget to do your homework worksheet 1. Check out the next video or the other videos to see about the discussion about our worksheet 1. Okay? Now let's go to lesson 2, controlling the spread of diseases. In this lesson, we are going to describe how good hygiene can control the spread of infectious diseases. And the second one is to describe ways to avoid insect bites. Now, let's see this picture. So people, or a student, or someone is brushing their teeth and then washing plates, and then we can see so many garbage and also people coughing. So which do you think are good hygiene practices? Good job. Yes. The answer is brushing teeth and washing dish. Now, what do you think about the bad hygiene practice? Yes, good job. The littering and then coughing without being covered. So it is not good, everyone. So remember not to leave your face uncovered or your mouth uncovered when you are coughing. So why is it important to keep ourselves and our surroundings clean? The answer is to prevent the spread of diseases. So remember, everyone, it is important to practice good hygiene. Now, let's put on our thinking cap. So let's think about how we can stop the spread of diseases. To be able to answer this, please open your student's book, page 42, and try to think of these questions. How do you think you can stop the spread of diseases? Yes, the answer is by practicing good hygiene. For example, washing hands frequently and wearing a mask. Now, let's check the next slide. We can prevent the spread of diseases by practicing good hygiene. To continue, please also open page 44 of your student's book before we continue. Now, what are some examples of good hygiene practices? So, you can practice good hygiene by washing your hands frequently and wearing a mask. Now, let's go to see the picture. So, how many times in a day do you wash your hands? At what times do you wash your hands? At what times? Now, because our hands, we touch everything, so many places, so our hands can also carry bacteria and pass them to our food and other surfaces. So we could fall ill if these bacteria enter our body. So how do you wash your hands? You have to wash your hands thoroughly, and when to wash our hands, we have to wash our hands before and after eating or preparing food, after playing, after using the toilet, before and after caring for a person who is ill, after visiting a public place, and etc. Why is it important to cover our nose and mouth while sneezing or coughing? Hmm, let's think about it. Can you think of the answer? Yes, good job. We have to cover our nose and mouth while sneezing or coughing because we want to prevent any pathogens from spreading through the air. Now let's go to the next questions. How can keeping food covered prevent the spread of diseases? Why? How can we prevent the spread of diseases by covering our food? Hmm. Can you think of the answer? Yes, the answer is because the flies carrying bacteria may contaminate the food and make us fall ill. Keeping food covered can help keep flies away. So that's why everyone, my lovely students, don't forget that you have to always cover your food. So if you're going outside and then you see the street food vendors, they are selling uncovered foods, that means you do not buy it. Because why? You do not know when the flies hovering over it and then invested some bacteria or they put some parasites over it. So be careful, guys. Do not try to eat or buy things on the streets because they are not safe and it is not covered. Okay? Everyone, don't forget to promise to me so all of us can always keep our body healthy. Now, remember two things that mosquitoes can spread diseases such as dengue fever, yellow fever, and malaria. So we can prevent the spread of these diseases if we avoid getting bitten by mosquitoes. So don't forget you can also use the mosquito repellent gel to cover ourselves so that the mosquitoes won't what is that won't not won't be able but they won't get near us because they don't like the smell. So my question is, do you cover yourself well before going out to play in the evening? Yes or no? Oh, if you are answering no, that is very dangerous, everyone. You have to always cover yourself if you are going out to play, also in the evening. Okay, because why? Because we want to prevent the mosquitoes from biting us. So, my next question. Do you use mosquito repellent? Yes or no? No? Then you should change. Yes, good job. You have to always use mosquito repellent because we want to keep ourselves safe. Do you use a mosquito net at home? So you can check your windows now. You can check even your doors. If your doors have like holes, do you use any mosquito net? If you don't use it, that means you have to start using it. Because why? Because it will keep you safe. Yeah, because it will help to keep the mosquitoes away from your house or from you. So it will keep the mosquitoes from biting you. Okay, now let's see. Why do we need to wash our hands properly? Okay, and then how do we wash our hands properly? So the question is, mm, you have listened to the questions. Now you can also open page 44 to understand how important it is to wash your hands properly. So, do you know the answer now? Yes, good job. Because if we wash our hands properly, we can prevent many diseases. And don't forget to wash your hands for at least 20 seconds with soap and water with some rubbing actions from up to down, then left to right, and then in between your fingers. And then to make sure that you really understand, don't forget to practice proper washing of hands at home. You can even ask your parents to help you to wash your hands at home. And remember, before and after you eat, you have to wash your hands because you don't want your food to get contaminated by any pathogen. Now, critical thinking. Can we catch a disease by being near a person who is ill? Hmm. Can you think of the answer? Yes, of course, yes, right? The answer is being near a person who is ill does not mean that we will automatically catch the disease. Not all infectious diseases spread through physical contact or through the air. Now let's see our wrap up. Okay, please answer true or false for each sentences. Now, number one. Diseases cannot spread through food and water. What is the answer? Can it spread through food and water? Yes, so the answer is false. Because why? Diseases can spread through food and water. So if you write down cannot, that means it is false. Diseases can spread through food and water. Number two, standing water or still water around your house can cause diseases. Can it? Yes, it is. Still remember when I told you that you have to make sure that there is no standing water or still water because the mosquitoes likes to invest or grow there. They like to reproduce in the still water or the standing water. So number two, the answer would be true. Number three, all diseases spread through the air. Is that true? All diseases spread through the air? The answer is no, because we see it can be through physical contact, it can be through the body fluid and others. So the answer for number three is false. Okay, number four. If we have physical contact with a person who is ill with dengue fever, we will catch disease too. Is that true, everyone? Let me wait for your answer for a while. Do you think that's true or false? Yeah, the answer is false. Because why? Dengue fever cannot be transmitted through physical contact. It should be transmitted through the body fluid and also the what? The parasites that is being transmitted through the mosquitoes when the mosquito bite us. So the answer is false, true, false, and false. Now don't forget to do your homework from the last review on pages 30 to 32 of the activity book. Now we will see the discussion about the answer in the next video. Don't skip it. Now let's go to lesson 3, defense mechanisms of the human body. In this lesson, we are going to learn how the human body has defense mechanisms to fight diseases. Now, let's see this picture. Can this child fall ill if his hands are dirty? Why? Yes, this child can fall ill if his hands are dirty because the food could get contaminated with disease-causing bacteria and get into his body. Let's go to the next question. How do pathogens enter our body? Hmm. Yeah, the pathogens can enter our body through many ways. Just now we have talked about this. Can be through food, can be through water, physical contact, body fluid, blood, and then what else? What else can you mention? Yes, go through the air also. Now, let's put on your thinking cap while opening the page 48 of the student's book. So, before we continue, don't forget to open page 48 of the student's book. And let's think about how our body defends itself against diseases. Let's see about the main concept. Don't forget to open page 48 of your student's book. Now, let's see that our body has its own defense mechanisms to fight disease. Starting from the first is the mucus, the second one is the skin, and the third one is the acid in the stomach. Following activity. Match each body defense to how it protects the body from diseases. Let's see the first. Mucus, skin, and stomach acid. So what is actually the mucus? Yeah, the mucus actually, the function of the mucus is to traps pathogens from the air that is breathed in. Okay, and then the next one, the skin. What is the skin? The skin is actually a physical barrier that prevents pathogens from entering the body. And then the next one is the stomach acid. What is the stomach acid? Stomach acid contains a chemical to kill pathogens. So when you eat something and then it is being digested in your body, actually the stomach acid has helped you to kill the pathogens. However, if you eat too, what is that? The pathogens are too strong and it cannot be killed by the chemical or the stomach acid in your body. That means you will get infected. Okay, that's why we have to be careful with what we eat and also what we breathe and what we touch. Now, critical thinking. What will happen if the skin of the tomato is poked with a toothpick? Let's see. What do you think? Yes, good. The skin of the tomato will break. Now, what will happen to the tomato with the broken skin? What will happen? Yeah, it will start to get infected or rot quickly. So that's why, everyone, if we do not want to eat the tomato or a fruit, we do not open it first, because once we have opened it, then it is easily exposed to bacteria or any pathogens in the air, and it will decay faster or infected. Let's see our wrap-up activity, and let's try to do it together. If you can quickly shout out loud even if you are at home. So who knows, your answer will be exactly the same like mine. That means you have done a really good job. Okay, let's try to do number one. So the skin is one of our bodies. Ta-da-dang. What is the answer? Yes, defense mechanism. Okay, number two. Some diseases are caused by one, two, three. Infection with pathogens. Very good. Number three now. Viruses, bacteria, and fungi that cause infectious diseases are called one, two, three. The answer is pathogens. Very good. Now, number four. Pathogens reproduce in the body of a plant or animal called a one, two, three. The answer is host. Yes, very good. Now, number five. The last one. Mosquitoes are one, two, three. And the answer is good job. Factors that carry pathogens from one host to another. Now let's count how many numbers that you answered correctly. Is it four? If it is four, that means you have done a good job. How about anybody get five correct answers? If you haven't got five correct answers, and if you have got five, you have done an extremely good job. But if you haven't, or you only have one answer correct, that's okay. That means you can study again, and hopefully you can do better at the next test. Okay? Let's see. Homework. Don't forget, you have to complete homework worksheet 2 just now that have been given to you. So if you need to see some links and you want to see the video or whatever, you can check it from the following slide. Now, so happy to be able to study with you, everyone. I hope that you have understood about chapter 3. Okay, I love you so much and looking forward to see you at the next chapter. You have to love science. Bye bye, everyone. God bless you.